Hey, so sometimes you get a note to adjust an animation where it's pretty far along or when you've got fairly detailed keys in there. And it can be a little bit tricky. There's a few ways to do it, like sometimes I like to use animation layers, but another way I like to do it, sort of a visual way, is sort of to use a locator as my animation layer. And what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to try and add a little bit more hang time to this jump that this character is doing. So it's just jumping here. And I blocked this in from reference, and I blocked it in pretty much on ones because I wanted to get this the arc of this foot as it comes through was kind of nice in the reference. I wanted to get that kind of swinging through like that. So I'm kind of happy with that, but I got a note that it'd be nice to have more hang time in the body. And I don't want to break the leg poses. And the legs are in IK, so they're going to break if I start moving the body control around. You know, that's all going to start looking wonky. So what I want to try and do is keep that all together and adjust it in a sort of a predictable way. So what I like to do for sometimes with cases like this is to create a locator. I've created one there where the body controller is, like on the pivot of that. And then I just reset its rotation. So it's just zeroed out in rotation, but it's got the same position as the body control. And then I just point constrain it, constrain point to the body control. So now it's following along. It's only following the position. Its rotation is just simple and clean. So now I'm just going to bake that, and then I'm just going to go into the to the outliner and delete that point constraint. So now I've got that locator following the body control. So now, as I say, I want to get the body and the feet and the knee poles all in that space. So I've got another tool in Cycle Tools, Great Key World Locators, which is there's a few other tools out there like this. This is my own version of it. And basically, one of the nice options with this is it has down here alternative controller space. So I can do is I can bake this to world space, but I can also bake it to any other space. And in this case, I want to bake it to that locator. So I'm going to call this like new root, just to make it clear. So I'll select that and then make that be the new root control for the animation, just for this section for now. And then I'm going to select the things I need to select. A selection for them here is basically the body control, the 2 feet controls, and the 2 knee poles. And then I'm going to create key locators for those with this option on parent locator to controller space. I'm going to create key locator. I'm going to bake them on ones. So it's just going to go through and it's baked them in. You see there, it's baked them in new root space. So the animation now, if I play it, will look exactly the same, but my animation is now relative to this root. So I can now take this root and play around with it. And I've only got, nice thing is I've got one object to deal with and I can control the spacing on this object very easily. You know, I can go into the graph editor and look at the translate Y on it and go, oh, okay, it's not really maybe coming up as quickly as I'd like. Maybe I'd like to push that more, you know, have to jump up quicker and then maybe have it come up even a bit higher. Maybe like, you know, it's very easy to say, I'm only dealing with one object, but I'm adjusting the animation for everything really there. So maybe I want it to come up. Let's come up there. Maybe keep going. Maybe keep going. Yeah, it's very easy to play around with this now. Even though I've got dense animation data, I'm not, you know, trying to deal with a lot of stuff. I'm kind of looking at the, I'd like to actually, if I track the head, I like the head. So I'll just put in a little guide here. I'm just going to use a screen drawing tool. I'm just going to put in like just a rough guide to give me sort of an idea of where I want the head to kind of stay there. So there, I want the head to kind of go up a little bit more and then to kind of stay there a little bit more. So I really want to push that hang time and then have it start slowing out here and maybe even push that a bit more. Maybe make this last bit of spacing nice and big so we get that impact on the landing. So already that's starting to feel nicer, you know. And I can do this, you know, I can really play around with this. That's the nice thing about this workflow is it's very intuitive. Obviously I need to go back and adjust these feet poses maybe a little bit afterwards, but I'm not breaking all those arcs that I was kind of happy with. And I can play with it on other axes as well. I can, you know, I can look at the translate X and maybe keep the translate X or the translate Z, you know, work on those spacings as well. So keep them a little bit more in the same area. So I can very quickly kind of make broad changes. And then once I'm happy with it, I just bake from world locators. And it'll just go through basically and it'll just take everything back to normal world space. And now I'm back to using the controllers again. So I've made a very predictable, very easy change without having to deal with like, or adjusting the curves on like five controls. I've just done it on one control and then baked it back. So hope that helps. Cheers.